I found that my manager in my own presence was soliciting favors.
The fact that you were left out after all these years of planning and progress that you've made on behalf of both AUSTRADE, VIC Roads as well as the Tamilnadu Government.
What is happening? Why they eliminated me? I was really shocked because I had spent more than 10 years in advocating to everybody the Australian road safety, the best road safety.
A wrong choice was made, the wrong person was trusted.
Surprising thing was, the letter was addressed to AUSTRADE and not to the concerned party. And if they would have ever supplied a product like that anywhere in India and demonstrated the real capability that, okay, this is the product, this is how the accident can be prevented, I would have been delighted.
Today we have a letter that I'd like to read out to give you a bit of a background to what road safety means to a certain person that we'll be interviewing today. I'll just quickly go to this letter now. I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Noel A Kanagaraj, Road Safety Consultant, Noel Infrastructures Private Limited, Chennai. Dr. Kanagaraj visited Melbourne, Victoria in October 2012 and had meetings with various Victorian state government departments and associates with reference to road safety and traffic management. Now, this visit was organized by the Australian Trade Commission in Chennai. The objective of this visit, however, was to understand and review various road safety management systems in Australia and to develop a comprehensive plan to promote those initiatives in India. Now, Dr. Kanagaraj has actually been working on this plan since 2003 when he actually came to Australia. Without further ado, let me introduce the man that we are actually referring to, Dr. Noel A Kanagaraj. Thanks so much for speaking to us, Dr. Kanagaraj. The letter which I've just read out is from the Australian government, but there is a very deep significance in terms of why we're highlighting the fact that Dr. Kanagaraj was involved officially on paper, as a mediator, a serious mediator between VIC Roads, AUSTRADE, and everybody who were on an official note in India as well, to really welcome this kind of a partnership and bilateral relations. These are serious bilateral relations, and we recognize that. Where did things turn around after the conference, in a negative light, if I should say, for you? Mm-hmm.
It was not only a surprise, it was an amazing thing to be witnessed by the Australian specialists on road safety. So they were not only excited, they also said, okay, this is the way to go. So I have taken them one after the other, first to the transport department, then to the police department, then to Anna University, and then to Pondicherry. In all this enrouting, I found that they were scheming on their own with certain discussions, keeping me away from the discussion. I did not suspect at that point of time that there was a scheme that's being worked out, but on reaching Pondicherry, which is closer to Chennai,
right on the outskirts of Chennai.
Outskirts of Chennai, the person whom I employed as a facilitation manager for the conference was in constant dialogue with the Australians and AUSTRADE officials during that period, which was not warranted. And encouraging him, I found that my manager in my own presence was soliciting favors in the form of distributing gifts to every Australian visitor who came there, including Peter Cox and his wife. So I was really shocked, because I have not asked him to do this on behalf of the company. On his own initiative, he was doing that. So I suspected that there is a wrong move that is going on. So on return back to Chennai, I terminated the services of my employee, manager.
And just for the benefit of everybody watching, we're actually not naming the person for sensitive reasons. And if need be, Dr. Kanagaraj will actually name that person in due course.
Yeah. When I terminated the person, again, another surprise was he was taken by the company which participated in the road safety conference. Mm-hmm. This was again facilitated by the Australian consultant who was introduced by AUSTRADE to me, and they were working together to achieve this purpose. And the person who has engaged his services has engaged him on a payment, on a fee, on a consultant's fee, to be a consultant for that company to introduce the product to the government of Tamil Nadu. And government of Tamil Nadu also issued, based upon the information provided during the conference, an order in favor of the company through AUS TRADE. It is almost more than a year till now the product was not supplied. So the trust of the government in trying to understand road safety through Australian expertise was become a question, because the practical demonstration was not done as per the expectations of the Tamil Nadu government.
Which means all the dialogue, all the preparation, all the planning that went in from your end and everybody who was associated with you, the trust factor that you built in with, the Tamil Nadu government to start off with, was sort of hanging in the balance and hanging by a thread, primarily because a wrong choice was made, the wrong person was trusted, and sort of you were thrown on the wayside because the information was not passed on in the right light. Am I getting the right drift here, or
It's perfect. You're perfect. That's exactly what has happened. You're correct.
So if I actually ask you a question in terms of what could the government in Australia or VIC Roads or AUSTRADE, which is obviously a government body, could have done better?
My employer was engaged, and the surprising thing was the letter was addressed to AUSTRADE and not to the concerned party. Mm-hmm. When AUSTRADE has received that letter, it is the responsibility to see that the inquiry is honorably handled, because it is a government initiative.
Of course, yeah.
When the product was not supplied, there was not any communication whatsoever between AUSTRADE and the government of Tamil Nadu to the respective department. Why there was a delay, why it was not supplied, and what was the reason. This only indicates the interest which they exhibit as a road safety expertise to be offered to India is just a non-serious move.
Sort of like skimming the surface.
It is just skimming the surface, or it is I don't know whether it is a showmanship, or is it just they only want business and not really showcasing their real capability. Okay. So that question came to my mind, and I was really shocked, because I had spent more than 10 years in advocating to everybody the Australian road safety, the best road safety system. So now I was put to a little bit of embarrassed situation with the government officials whom I developed such a long contact. Yeah, right? The only reason that the government engaged me for road safety promotion is the trust that
the credibility that
I have developed over a period of 20 years of my lifetime. Right? So, and if they would have ever supplied a product like that anywhere in India and demonstrated the real capability that, okay, this is the product, this is how the accident can be prevented, I would have been delighted. But unfortunately, till now, again I am coming to Australia only to see what are the improvement that Australia has done on road safety. Now I am disappointed, because such a demonstration was not done even today.
This is an official document, and there are various other documents that states that he played a very key role in initiating, facilitating, and possibly even, if he was allowed to stay, could have even implemented it with the help of AUSTRADE and VIC Roads and the involvement of the Australian government, but with the right method.
Absolutely.
Now,
right.
if we actually throw light on more on how you were left aside, that would be fantastic. And not to put no disrespect to you, sir, but the people need to know exactly what has happened.
That's a question I am not able to answer, because I did not like to probe into the affairs of the government, because this I knew will affect the image of Australian government. Mm-hmm. Since I had such a respect for Australian government initiatives, and my transaction with the various government officials, both in India as well as in Australia, I thought whether it was the right thing to open up this dialogue or not to. So I waited till now, and now I realize that business is happening. I am thrown out. They have no consideration for the value that I have developed over a period of my lifetime.
Yes.
And there is no justification that they should proceed with business initiatives, right? Eliminating the man who is responsible for this initiative. Now my serious doubt is, will Australian government demonstrate road safety initiative in a scientific manner as I was planning to do through Australian government? The Australians will realize that there is something seriously happening wrong in the offices of AUSTRADE, which encourages wrong promotional activities, which one day or other will affect the image of Australia as a country. So I thought it's my responsibility to convey this to the Australian public that this has to be corrected.
If one person who's been following this in one sector can actually downslide and be left out of the bigger picture of facilitating and implementing something like traffic management in a country like India, then bigger questions, bigger debates, bigger ventures, I really have to ask the question, what is going to happen to the trust factor there? And we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you, Dr. Kanagaraj, for actually joining me and speaking to me on this discussion. We hope that we will actually see the light at the end of the tunnel and hear a response from either side, whether it's going to be AUSTRADE or whether it's going to be representatives from India. We'd like to actually let the public know that this has actually happened. We actually have the documents in front of us, which you've also seen. So thanks so much for watching.